What is up, Copy Squad? It's your boy, Kyle Milligan of KyleTheWriter.com, and today we're going to talk about active reading strategies for copywriters. Okay, so first, what is active reading? Active reading is reading for meaning. So one of the things that I stress is that copywriting is a language. It's a professional language. It's just like accounting or being a lawyer. They have their own jargon. They have their own way of speaking. They have different words mean different things to them, okay? So the whole concept of copywriting being a language is sort of like my deal. That's what I'm all about, and I write about that in my book, Take Their Money, which is available at KyleTheWriter.com/book. So if you're interested in learning about the language of copywriting, if you're interested in more details about what I'm going to explain here about active reading and the daily practices that I'm going to give you here in just a moment, those things are all inside the book in great detail and will help you be a better copywriter and learn how to practice active reading every single day, which I think is critical. So we'll talk about active reading in just a moment, the active reading process. First, I want to talk about what is passive reading. So passive reading is a little bit different, and it's really easy to sum that up. Passive reading is what 90% of people do when they are reading pretty much anything. Passive reading is when you're just kind of reading for the story. You're reading to absorb the information. You're just kind of like, you're taking it at surface level, surface value. And because copywriting is it's a very unique language, it's directly communicated to your emotional brain. So the language of copywriting is communicated purely through the subtext under the simple words that you read passively. Okay, so you're passive reading, you're reading the words. When you're active reading, you're actually reading for the meaning behind the words. All right, and so I've developed like a whole mnemonic device for this called NSBE. I've written the whole book about this, reading the language of copywriting, translating it through active reading. And let's go over NSBE really quick. So new, easy, safe, and big. Those are the big four selling emotions that you trigger when you're doing copywriting that can basically get sales for any market or any niche or whatever you need. New, easy, safe, and big. And underneath those very simple words, you are stirring one of these four emotions usually. Each of these has a multiplier, a partner, what I call an alter ego. New and only, easy and anybody, safe and predictable, big and fast. Okay, so these are all critically important to selling stuff, right? So basically when you're active reading, one of the things I want you to do is be constantly, like, vigilantly looking for how the writer is triggering new, easy, safe, or big, okay? So you're not just reading the words, you're also looking like, okay, what does this line specifically attempt to trigger? Because the point of copywriting, every single line of copywriting serves a purpose. And it's to tickle your emotional brain, your amygdala, the lizard brain or croc brain, you want to call it. So when you're active reading, one of the active reading strategies I'm recommending for copywriters is you want to read each line and then you want to try to reverse engineer what emotion are they targeting here. There's a couple other strategies I think are really important, but I think one of the biggest things, if you can get it down to new, easy, safe, and big, you're gonna be like head and shoulders beyond and better at copywriting. You're gonna be better than like 90% of copywriters out there. So whenever you're active reading, you're reading for the meaning. One of the things that you're reading for are what sales emotions are these lines of copy specifically triggering. And I tell you all about those emotions. I show you real examples from sales letters, and I do like super deep dive on that particular topic, the language of copywriting, which is spoken in these four emotions in my book, Take Their Money, at KyleTheWriter.com/book. I'll give you one or two other active reading strategies. I think that another thing that's important is every part of the copy. Like I did like a sales letter formula video, and basically there's four parts. There's the headline, the lead, the body copy, and the offer copy. Each one of these has like a unique purpose or goal, but they all need to have new, easy, safe, and big weaved within the words. So one of the things that I want to, like an active reading strategy I want to offer you is specifically I'll give you one for the headline, I'll give you one for the body copy. So one active reading strategy that I employ in the headlines is I always look for the 4 U's. Urgent, unique, useful, and ultra specific. So whenever you're reading a headline, and it could be a subject line of an email, it could be a blog post, it could be anything like that, you want to see how many times they tick off one of the 4 U's. Generally, you only need 2 to 3 of those to have a pretty strong headline. If you can manage all 4, and we're talking about the eyebrow, the actual headline, and the deck copy right beneath it. That all counts as the headline complex. Look for the 4 U's in there. And also, you want to kind of be looking for, do they have any credibility in there? I think that's another thing that's kind of overlooked. The 4 U's are really easy to remember, but credibility is often overlooked. You should probably find a way to stick in some credibility early in your headline complex, or like very, very shortly after you start the lead. So active reading strategy for those. Look for those 4 U's in the headline. Another active reading strategy for the body copy is this is the only copywriting formula or template that I really endorse. So in the body copy, I endorse like one template, but basically there's one template that I think no matter what level of copy you're in, like you're a beginner, you're a master copywriter, you're a beginner copywriter, you're a chief, you're a junior, wherever you're at with that, the body copy template works. Objection, claim, proof, benefit. Objection, okay, what's the reader's objection that they're trying to overcome? Then they state a claim. Sometimes they don't put the objection in the copy. Sometimes they just go straight to the claim. Find the claim. And the body copy is almost exclusively like just this pattern repeated over and over and over and over. So if you can start to dissect that, you can start to learn what common objections that your competition or other copywriters are specifically targeting. So find out the objection. Find out how they phrase their claims. Look at what their claims are, and like this is probably a claim that you'll want to include in your sales letter. You want to look and see what's a very common element for these sorts of things. Then usually proof. Objection, claim, proof. Proof usually comes in 3s. Usually there's 3 pieces of proof, and oftentimes they reframe the proof. Like I will say, oh my God, you could have increased your sales 300%. Okay, 300% is not very effective. What you want to do is create some imagery. So 300% cannot be, there's no instances to imagine. I call this the imagery hack. So to create imagery out of 300%, I would say that's like going from 100 sales a day to 400 sales a day. You can imagine moving the needle from 100 sales to 400 sales, but you cannot imagine a 300% increase. It's very difficult for your brain to imagine something that's a percentage. But if I tell you to look, I mean, your brain will automatically create like a chart in its head. 100 here, 400 here. Like it just knows whenever you make instances instead of percentages. Make instances so I can reframe that percentage as an instance. That's another awesome way to really hammer home some proof. So the last thing is the benefit. Basically, it should come immediately after the proof. You should see some sort of imagine. All right, some people, I guess you could call it future pacing, I guess someone said. Basically, you want them like salivating at the idea that this piece of proof that I just gave you could be yours, and it will greatly move the needle in your life. And that's another important thing. The 4 emotions are new, easy, safe, and big. The biggest, the most critical aspect of big is that it materially moves the needle in your life. So look to see how, when you're doing your active reading strategies, you want to look to see how, is this an important, and is it a big critical move for the reader? So that's another active reading strategy. We got the 4 U's for the headline, okay? We got the objection, claim, proof, benefit template for the body copy. You want to be looking for this. And then you want to also be looking for the big 4 emotions that are new, easy, safe, and big. My entire book called Take Their Money. You can get that at kylethewriter.com/book. I talked about the daily practices to help you develop your active reading skills. I'm going to touch on these really quick. 3 things. Probably heard these before if you're a regular, but if you're a newcomer, these are very important. I want you to know these 3 daily copywriting exercises, daily practices that you should be doing. 1, read a piece of copy a day. It doesn't have to be an entire sales letter, because when you're doing the active reading that I just explained to you, breaking down a sales letter can take 2 to 3 hours if you do it very thoroughly. So you don't have to read an entire sales letter. Just read a couple pages if you want. Step 2, so read a piece of copy, write a piece of copy a day. I'd say about a page, okay? At least a page. Now, one little hack is while you're reading your copy, which is step 1, you can be hand copying that on the page. You can hand copy it in like a legal pad or something like that with a pen. I guess. So I don't know what else you can copy with. So you can hand copy it onto like a legal pad. All right, so that's reading a piece of copy and writing a piece of copy. Write the whole page out. Fill up that whole legal pad, top to bottom. And then the third thing is come up with an idea. So read a piece of copy, write a piece of copy, and come up with an idea. So what you want to do, you'll read that piece. This is the hack. This is like the shortcut. You'll read that piece of copy while you hand copy it onto your legal pad. And then you'll perform active reading. You'll go through the active reading strategies we talked about and the active reading process of like, you'll say, okay, here's the headline I copied, and here's like some of the lead, where's new, easy, safe, and big, where's objection, claim, proof, benefit if you're reading body copy, that kind of stuff, right? So you'll do active reading. So you've got a whole handwritten page, you're marking in the margins and with another color marker all this stuff that you're seeing, and from that you want to try to draw one idea, one takeaway. To ask you to do a one idea a day is not a tall task. Like it should be like the easiest thing you've ever done. That's all I got for you today. Peace out, Copy Squad.